Hey, what's up? Liron here. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my recent plein air paintings and paintings done from direct observation, so not necessarily outside, and share with you some of the huge insights I gained and how they can help you. Okay, so if you're in a spot where you're scared of doing plein air, you haven't gotten to doing it yet, I highly recommend. I basically want to sell you on the idea of trying it out, okay? Tons of things to learn. So with that being said, let's get started. So here's the first painting I want to show you, and for two reasons. One, I barely showed this one to you. I didn't film the process, at least not most of it. I did share snippets of it. That's the first reason. Now, the second reason is that I learned something incredibly important from it, and that is to accept the painting as it is when you're outside painting it, because you never know how pretty it's going to look after a week or two of looking at it. Because when I first look at it, I was like, I'm really messing this one up. It does not look like what I wanted it to. This doesn't look like people or the thing I wanted it to. The road merges with the cars is not a good idea. I was very judgmental of it, and it's actually a beautiful view from up top, a nice angle towards the bottom of this junction. And when I was doing it while I was painting, I was like, that's really good. But then when I finished, I was like, not so much. And now when I look at it about a month or two after, it is beautiful in my opinion. It's really one of my recent favorites. It has so much freshness and goodness to it. And it really is very authentic for me. And because it's very authentic, it's a step back, because I wasn't relying on any tricks or autopilot kind of things where your brain fools you into thinking that's how you paint this kind of a thing. I really stuck to my guns, so to speak, and painted it the way I wanted it to. And so the visual language could be improved. A lot of things could be improved, but overall, I absolutely love it. I love how the people look here on the crosswalk. I love how these different poles of the building holding it up look, and how they cast a shadow to the right. I love the spontaneity and freshness of it. I love how the cars are not the focus here. They're very much blended to the sides, and I absolutely love this negative painting around the sharp edge of this very well lit building. I'm happy also that I stopped at this point, and let me show it to you up close, because the colors are still very vibrant. And this is something I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video, about why I'm not scared of using very strong, vibrant colors when I get started with a painting. So I didn't lose that vibrancy and fun and beauty. That's the first one I wanted to show you. Here's another one, and I wanted to share this one because, again, I didn't show much of it, and definitely not on YouTube. I did not film the process or anything. This is our kitchen in our apartment, and one day I felt like doing an interior scene, so I just pulled up a chair in front of the kitchen and just started drawing the scene and painting it. And I did snap a photo to help me a bit with the composition and the framing of the scene, but then I relied mostly on what I saw. So I do treat this as a plein air, because I in fact painted it, well, it's not plein air, it's not outside in the air, but it is from direct observation, which is why I love it. And this, even if you can't really tell exactly what you're looking at, this is a toaster, this is for boiling water, this is just our bottle, I don't know what you'd call it, I know nothing. And this is a pot on the side here, just hung to dry, and the sink area, the stove. I just love the way it turned out, and it's a very authentic, again, expression of myself. And notice the keyword here is authentic, because painting in front of your subject pulls out of you things that you didn't know exist. And this is one of the things I learned. The previous one I told you I learned to delay my lack of belief and lack of trust in what the painting turned out to be, because if I look at it two weeks later, it looks fantastic. And with this one, I learned to just tackle these scenes that I'm not used to, because a lot of authenticity will pour out of me. And this is why I always recommend people give it a try, to plein air painting in front of the thing, not just from photo reference, okay? This is incredibly important. So let's throw this one to the side stack. And my next one is this, and actually let's get rid of the other one. I learned so much from this. Painted outside, on the spot, very messy, things did not connect. This is actually a large square close to where I live. There's this famous statue here, but I didn't even get to the stage of working more on this, because I kind of didn't feel like this was connecting. and I wanted to give up, but I didn't. I added another wash and added some shadow, so I'm pleased with myself. I think there is an interesting sense of place here, but I was not able to get the impression I wanted. Now, two things. First, the hour was very late. It was about 3:30 or 4, and it starts to get dark this time in the evening. When winter shows up, we change our clock to winter time, and this is what happens. So I just walked outside so late that the light literally changed. The sun was here when I started, and then it was here when I finished, and I lost all of the recollection of what the scene originally looked like. This was the big problem here. I should have come earlier. But on the other hand, I did manage to produce some very interesting effects that I don't usually get. Look at this stripe here. This was pure experimentation. What I did was I put a bit of yellow like that, and then I put the blue in between it. And it's kind of a, what blue is that? It's kind of cerulean blue with a bit of a raw sienna or yellow ochre. And I even got a bit of a background here, but notice this effect is not a common one for me, and you even can notice how the yellow bled through the blue. If you look at these little stripes here, you can see them, they bled into the blue from both directions, and I love the way it turned out. I have so much love for this painting. I didn't even manage to sign it, because if I don't like a painting, I don't sign it immediately. I find that if I like it, I immediately want to sign it. But in any case, I still haven't even, finalized it, but this is perfect. When you paint outside and you don't like the result, take a step back and you will learn that this is a pure, authentic expression of yourself. Even if it's not perfect, I think it has something perfect in it, especially if done outside. Notice all of these, the background here is so beautiful with the blue, red, a bit of yellow, a bit of all primary colors, really. It's just clever. I love the way I did it. I love the color scheme too. I will try. Probably, I took a lot of pictures of the scene. I'll probably try making a better version inside. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Next up, this is actually the view from our rooftop, the rooftop of our building. And I shared it on Instagram. You've probably seen this if you follow me there, and I shared a couple of posts. But I really like this one, even though I kind of messed up a lot of things. I do feel like there's a good sense of place. Even the perspective isn't so good. Like this line is way too much like this. It should be more like that. Should be more horizontal. But it's just all good and fun. You're having fun when you're painting outside. The goal will never be to produce a perfect, highly detailed and highly accurate painting for me. If that's your goal, that's perfectly fine. For me, it's more about capturing the place, feeling great, and having fun with the expression. So to get something authentic that shows the place and shows me and my authenticity. I'm doing this to myself. You can't see me, but here I am. So my authenticity. And this really captures it. So let's look at some others. Next up, I have this one. I don't remember if I showed it to you. I think I have in one of the recent videos talking about the Plein-Air Challenge. So I will be brief. Basically, not a lot of details were there, and I was able to add them with the people. Looking back at this one, I love it even more. So again, that lesson. Don't judge it when you're outside. Judge it after a week or two when you're inside, especially if you did a painting based on a photo. Going back to these is an incredible experience. I cannot stress that enough. So never give up on a painting is what I always tell you, but never give up on a plein air even more, because you never know what it will look like once you take it back home. Okay, so really, really important. I have these two New York pieces that I showed you, and let me zoom out a bit. So again, these I showed you, so I just want to go over them very briefly. What attracted me to this scene was this spectacular building. I loved it so much when I was outside, which is why I gave it most of my focus. This is a complete improvisation. There was nothing here. This was all in the shadow, but I wanted to add some kind of a sense of light. So I added this diagonal line. The street is fully empty. This looks like it's like, I don't know, 1920s, but really early on, barely any cars. But I don't know, I liked it that way. And this scene gave me hell. It was very challenging, but I ended up producing something that I'm very proud of. Mainly, I had a hard time creating. There was just a lot going on, a lot. But I'm happy still with it. There's the people, the subway station, the Union Square, or the Union Square Park. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. And the buildings in the background. Someone commented on Instagram that they live in one of these buildings, which was really cool to hear. So yeah, these are two cool ones. I also showed you, I believe, this one. Painted outside in a local park here, really close to our place as well. just beautiful. For me, this was so fun. I worked a different way. I first painted the highlights. I didn't cover the whole thing up. I just painted the highlights, then I added the shadows, and then I added the darkest shadows. My favorite spot is this tree. If you look at it up close, there is so much of the yellow, the red, even here you see a bit of red, and some blue and purple. So this one encapsulates everything. And sometimes it won't be as easy to bring this out of yourself to see all the individual colors unless you're there outside in the field. Okay, I'm telling you this from experience. When I'm inside working from a photo, it's not always easy for me to see these details. But then when I'm outside in front of the tree or the subject, whatever it is, I can see them. Okay, so I don't know, Plein-Air just brings out things in you that you otherwise wouldn't have seen. Now, a fun thing I thought I'd end with is actually this very old Plein-Air I did. And when I say very old, I'm talking about, I don't know, 2 years maybe? It's not that old, but I completely messed this up in my opinion. The paper isn't of good quality, so paper is important. This one's a bit more flimsy and I don't like it so much. But it's an authentic expression of how I saw the place. This is actually a gas station. If you live in Israel, you probably can recognize this Paz logo. And it's an authentic expression of myself and the scene, the way I saw it. And this is gold to me. So even though I don't like it as much, it's still beautiful and I still cherish it, okay? And that's the whole point here of this video. You want to really cherish these works, especially the ones produced outside, and never, ever, ever, ever give up on them. So with that being said, let's wrap it up. So this is it for this one. Hopefully you can see how useful and valuable knowing how to do this is, and also how fun and freeing it can be. A lot of this I could not achieve in the studio, and a lot of the lessons I learned I would not learn unless I would do these plein airs, okay? This is really something I highly recommend you try out. Recreating that feeling in the studio is possible, and I am working towards it and working towards teaching it, but it's not as straightforward or as simple, okay? This is why I recommend you check out the frustration-free watercolor course, because I talk about these kinds of things exactly, okay? So I will put it down in the link below. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in a comment down below what you think. I will talk to you again real soon.